A family is vacationing in the city of Loveland, where they encounter a creature known as the Frogman, and that's how it begins. Welcome to Random Recaps. In this video, I'm going to recap the movie. The Frogman is a creature that stands 4 feet tall and has leathery skin. It roams the forests of Loveland performing rituals with its wand. A wand that makes people think it might be an alien. Others believe it's the river monster from local native legend. Supposedly, this being has telepathic powers and can get into your mind. The legend of Frogman gained fame in 1975 when this photo was taken by George Hale, a resident of Loveland. The most infamous sighting occurred in 1999 when a 10-year-old boy named Dallas Kyle captured the Frogman on video. But this YouTuber says the footage is just a hoax. Dallas is now 32, graduated as a filmmaker in 2011, and has only directed short films since. The YouTuber believes Dallas fooled everyone with that video. Now older, Dallas thinks the YouTuber is just a troll throwing hate at him. Dallas has lived at his friend's house for over 2 years, and his friend is asking him to find a new place to live. Dallas looks for his old camera and says in front of it that he'll seek irrefutable proof of the Frogman, as many people believe his video is fake.
I'm gonna get irrefutable proof that the Frogman exists.
To do this, he asks for help from his cameraman friend, Scotty. Scotty refuses. That night, they go to their friend Amy's party for a drink, but I think Scotty had a bit too much. At the party, Dallas tells Amy that he's going to make a movie about the Frogman. A drunken Scotty stumbles over and accepts his offer to film with him. Then the two ask Amy to come with them to Loveland to film. She agrees. The next day, Dallas' sister tries to stop him, but he says it's something he has to do.
All right, well, be careful then.
The 3 friends meet up and start their trip to Loveland. But first, they need to buy some stylish clothes to look sharp. Dallas' plan is to arrive in Loveland, interview the locals, and talk to George Hale, another believer in the Frogman.
Is he still alive even? Or?
Yeah, I think so.
When they arrive in Loveland, Amy does a rather cringeworthy performance. Then they stay at the Bullfrog Bed and Breakfast, a Frogman-themed hotel, where the receptionist gives them a map to Frogman Point, a place where the Frogman is supposedly seen. According to the receptionist, the Frogman usually appears at night. In their room, to relax, they start dancing and twerking. A little twerking never hurts. The next day, they go out to ask people if they believe in the Frogman. Several people say they do, including this guy with glasses who believes the Frogman can even read minds.
Frogman can read minds!
Thank you very much.
Dallas doesn't like how Amy is doing the interviews, so he says he'll do them himself. Many people in town know about the Frogman, though none have seen it. They've only heard stories. Even this girl believes in it, though she doesn't want us to assume her gender.
It is not safe to assume gender, but I hope you find them.
What?
It's well known that the Frogman has a wand, but no one knows what it does. There are caves where it might live, but according to this man, they're all sealed off. There's also talk of a cult that worships the Frogman, and it's said the Frogman abducts women.
So Frogman Yeah, he does.
Dallas thinks he's found an entrance to the caves, but his friends don't want to go inside. They later find a shop selling all kinds of Frogman-related merchandise, and in the shop they meet Woody, who claims to be an expert on the Frogman. Woody says he has an authentic Frogman footprint and the Frogman's flute, which supposedly can be used to summon it. Although Dallas and his friends don't seem so sure about that, they leave. On the way to Frogman Point, Dallas comments that he believes the Frogman could be an interdimensional being or a type of wizard, and Amy thinks Dallas is losing his mind. They park the car and start walking into the woods as night falls. They turn on the camera's night vision and arrive at Frogman Point, where they supposedly will find the Frogman. They start looking for it, and suddenly, they see something move. Dallas runs frantically to catch it, but finds it's just a guy in a Frogman costume. Boo! When they remove the mask, they realize it's Woody, the guy from the shop. He tells them the Frogman doesn't exist and that they do all this to attract tourists. He's just a guy who gets paid to dress up as the Frogman. Back at the hotel, Dallas angrily confronts the receptionist for tricking them. She tells them to turn off the camera.
Turn that thing off.
And says they have to leave. Dallas asks her to tell the truth, but she insists they leave town. Dallas decides to visit George Hales, even though his friends beg him not to. A police officer stops them and asks them to leave the town.
Go back to the Bullfrog, gather your stuff, and go home, now.
His friends think things have gone too far and want to leave, but Dallas, obsessed with the Frogman, insists on talking to George. Dallas goes to George's house and gets out to look for him, while his friends think he's gone crazy. There, Amy notices George has a portrait of his granddaughter, a girl whose whereabouts are unknown.
Don't touch anything.
George tells them he saw the Frogman once when he and his friend got lost in the woods and shows them the picture he took of the Frogman. Because of that, tourism in the area boomed, but it faded over time. Dallas asks if it's because of the cult formed around the Frogman.
Who told you that?
Is it true?
When Dallas mentions the cult, George becomes nervous, saying he's said enough and tells them to leave. Dallas insists he needs to find the Frogman. George eventually responds,
What the hell? After tonight, none of it'll matter anyway.
And gives him a map to find it. Dallas asks his friends to follow the map's directions, and if they find nothing, they'll leave town.
Promise me it's the last thing.
I promise you. Both of you.
The friends start walking through the woods, following the map. Frogs can be heard everywhere. Amy becomes very nervous, even though she doesn't believe in the Frogman. Dallas finds green liquid on a tree and thinks they're getting close to the Frogman. Feeling optimistic, Dallas decides to camp in the middle of the forest. Amy goes to gather firewood, and Scotty lies down to sleep. Dallas uses the flute from the shop to summon the Frogman. Later, Dallas wakes Scotty to show him he's found footprints, presumably the Frogman's. When they return to the tent, they realize Amy is missing.
Amy! Fuck. Amy! Amy!
And her tent is covered in green slime. They find Amy, but Dallas notices she's in a strange, trance-like state with an odd look in her eyes. Dallas wakes her from the trance. She explains that she was gathering wood when she heard someone call her name inside her head. Dallas tells her she's been gone for about an hour, even though, to Amy, it only felt like minutes. Suddenly, the three of them start hearing strange noises. They search for the source of the sound, but the camera quality worsens. Suddenly, there's a foul smell. Scotty notices something in the trees, and Dallas runs after it but falls. Dallas admits he wants to capture the Frogman, and Amy asks how he plans to do that. The camera light turns off, and when Scotty turns it back on, the Frogman appears behind them. Scotty runs, being chased by the Frogman. He turns off the light to avoid being found. When he turns it back on, he's covered in slime and wrestles with the Frogman. Scotty grabs the camera and finds his friends. The three of them get into the car to escape. The Frogman appears, but they manage to get away. Dallas is thrilled to have found the Frogman and recorded it. His friends can't believe Dallas was right.
I found the Frogman.
Back at the hotel, the receptionist is gone, and Scotty seems to be growing frog skin on his face and hands. Amy wants to leave, but Dallas starts hearing chanting.
What are you talking about?
You don't hear it?
He realizes the chanting is coming from the caves nearby, so he and Scotty go to investigate. Venturing deeper into the cave, they find what seems to be a cult that worships the Frogman, which has kidnapped a girl to be the Frogman's bride. Among the cultists is George, disguised and carrying a shotgun. George begins firing, and they realize Dallas and Scotty are there. The two run, chased by the cultists who turn out to be tadpole men. In the cave, they find Amy, who came looking for them. The three search for a way out and stumble upon giant eggs. Dallas opens one, and out comes a girl, the granddaughter of George. The girl is pregnant, and when they take her out of the egg, she gives birth to a hideous creature. Amy grabs the camera and realizes Scotty is also transforming into a frog. Dallas and Amy try to escape, fearing the same fate, but Amy starts hearing the voices in her head again. The Frogman has taken control of her mind. Between camera cuts, we see how the Frogman uses his magical wand to turn Scotty into a frog. The Frogman kidnaps Amy. Dallas realizes the magical wand is on the ground and attacks the Frogman with it. Dallas manages to help Amy. The two find George, who helps them escape the cave and tells them how to get back to town. He returns to save his granddaughter.
If there's any chance my granddaughter is still alive, I have to go back.
On their way back to town, Amy breaks down in tears, traumatized by everything that happened.
The whole world is gonna believe us.
The Frogman is still out there.
Dallas premieres his film at a festival. Everyone loves the movie, applauding and cheering for Dallas. When they call Dallas to the stage, he just stands there, lost in thought, and we realize that Dallas stole the Frogman's wand. And that's how the movie ends. The movie is based on the Loveland frog, a creature that is part of cryptozoology, whose authenticity has not been verified, and no physical evidence of its existence has been found. According to various legends, the creature was first sighted in 1955 in Loveland, Ohio, by a businessman or traveling salesman driving on an unnamed road late at night, with some versions of the story specifying the month of May. In one of the stories, the driver was leaving the Branch Hill neighborhood when he saw three figures standing upright on their hind legs on the side of the road, each between 3 to 4 feet tall, with leathery skin and frog-like faces. In other versions, the creatures were spotted under or on a dimly lit bridge, and one of them held a wand above its head that shot out a spray of sparks. There have been reported encounters between this creature and humans in 1955, 1972, and 1998, always near rivers or lakes, supposedly its natural habitats. In the movie, we see references to these legends, such as the wand or the location where the Frogman has been sighted, adding a cult worshipping the creature that helps the Frogman reproduce. It appears the cult kidnaps women to give them to the Frogman so he can reproduce, resulting in frogmen everywhere.